Good morning, viewers. As we know, from past few days, we are learning history subject, and so far we have read that if it is India, let us see if it is India. We may not assume it to be an Indian map, and from northeast side, some inhabitants came here, which were Aryans settled there in Indus Valley. Later on, due to some other, it may be the climatic change or overpopulation, there were so many causes that from Indus, both the natives of India began to settle in this Gangetic area. Here, the discovery of iron, development occurred, population got increased, and people began to settle in the wider areas. From beyond that, small territorial areas began to be settled by different and class division of people happened. This later on made them to get some kind of differences in their way of living. Now, regionalism, religionism, and other costs began to differentiate them, and they began to settle in totally different way. The tribes which began to settle were known as by different names, whether it may be because of the land location or something else, but from the term pada, an ancient term which means food. Jana means people. When people began to settle after the nomadic life in one common place, they were known as Janapadas. These were Janapadas. These were many in number, but due to the time, the Janapadas became bigger ones, and they were known as Mahajanapadas. These were in Indian subcontinent. These were numbering about 16 in total, and the time for all these 16 Mahajanapadas was from 6th century to 5th century BC. We are still in BC era, and now we will see. We will not go to the all in detail because we are in reading them to the common student up to 10th standard. For higher studies, in for those who will be having history as their optional subject, we will go in detail for these Mahajanapadas and see who was the king, who was the Rajan, what was the capital. But we will discuss here briefly that the 16 most important Mahajanapadas arrived during this period. We know that 16 Mahajanapadas. Now we know Maha means big, Jana means people, and Padas means food. That is the establishment of people as a territory in one place, or to say states of that area at totally 16. mostly arrived in Gangetic Valley. We have seen almost, if it is the Indian map, here we saw, but the most areas were in this area. Yes, it was this area where most of these Mahajanapadas were. Five of them were greatest. Number one was Magadh, Magadh. Grivraj or Rajgir was its capital. Grivraj or Rajgir was its capital. At central Bihar capital, today if we see the present location of this Magadh and particularly of this Rajgir, it was in modern central place of Bihar state. Number two was Avanti. Avanti. It was in modern Madhya Pradesh and its capital was Ujjain, Madhya Pradesh. Number third is Kashi. It is now called as Banaras. Kashi called as Banaras, 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 and it is in eastern UP. You might be knowing that UP is a state in Uttar Pradesh, most populous state. Number four is Kosala. The capital of which is Ayodhya. Ayodhya. It was also having a capital, Saket. Eastern UP. And number five is Vajji. Vaishali city of northern Bihar was its capital. Northern Bihar. These the locations of this you have to keep in mind where this was. For example, northern Bihar. If you will see that one dynasty or one Mahajanapada fought with another, you have to keep in mind from present location what were their locations at that time. If they were fought where they would have fought this, and if any territory, for example Mahajanapada, had fought it from this position to that, this means they would have been superior class, superior in technology or in army. That is why they would have approached them for the fight. Magadha, as we know, this was one of the most important or powerful dynasty, and besides it, one more was Avanti. Magadha and Avanti were the two most important Mahajanapadas which fought for 200 years. Yes, it is 200 years for which they began to fight for supremacy. For supremacy, they fought for 200 years. By 4th century BC, Magadha could establish her supremacy and became the first empire in Indian subcontinent. By 4th century BC, by 4th century BC, this Magadh became the first Mahajanapada, or became the first empire in Indian subcontinent. The Nanda rulers generally get credited for this field. The Nanda rulers, N-A-N-D-A, Nanda rulers generally got credited for this field of establishment of this empire. Nanda rulers. This is to be kept in mind. Nanda rulers were the rulers of Magadh Empire, and they got the credit of establishing empire after fighting with Avanti for 200 years. In Magadh, the earliest known dynasty was Haryanka dynasty. Haryanka dynasty. After the establishment of empire, first dynasty was Haryanka dynasty. They had three great important kings. Three important kings. Number one was Bimbisar. Bimbisara. Bimbisara had lived in 6th century BC. Number two was Ajatashatru. Ajatashatru. This one had lived in 5th century BC. And number third was Ujjain. It was Udayana. He also had lived in the same era of 5th century BC. Bimbisara, Ajatashatru, and Udayana. These were the three important kings of Haryanka dynasty of the Magadh Empire. We will go in detail of Bimbisara and Ajatashatru because these two are the important, particularly this Ajatashatru, in the coming lectures. Thank you for being with me in this lecture.